What's up, traders? Welcome to the Day Trading Show. We've got an awesome episode for you today. I'm sitting down with my brother from Puerto Rico, saying Lucci. Now, I've done a couple of videos with Lucci before. I went to see him in the office last year. You could check out that video on the channel. This conversation, we talk a lot about trading psychology, a lot about what it's like to work in a community office with other traders. We talk about how he's trading SPY and managing through current market conditions. And even he gives a little bit of a prediction at the end. He shares a ton of great stories, like just a great episode. You guys are going to love this. So enough out of me. His links are in the description. Enjoy the video. Enjoy the episode. All right, everybody, welcome back. We have a very special guest today in the house, Sang Lucci himself.
What's
here to
going
join us.
on? What's going on? What's going on? What's
I'm
up,
looking
Austin?
forward to this, bro. This is good. I mean, hopefully what we're going to do is maybe go a little bit deeper on some of the stuff we touched on when we met in Puerto Rico. What was that, like a year and a half or
That was
so
probably
ago?
like a year. I can't believe it was that long ago, but yeah, it was like, a year
Crazy.
and a half ago.
Crazy. Time's flying.
Yeah.
So how's Puerto Rico, man? How's everything down there? How's the office? Things are popping, I see online, right?
100%. Yeah, we increased our online presence, as you can probably tell, and we engage with a group down here of young kids that really do great content, and they have, they got some good energy. And you know me, man, I've been fighting that shit for a long time, man, because I never.
Lucci don't like the marketers, bro. Lucci don't like the marketers.
I never was one, you know what I mean?
Of course.
To really do it,
Of course.
and I think you just get to some point in life where you're just like, I'm tired of fighting, and you're just like, screw it, let's do it. But then you also realize, like, you're good at this stuff, right? People want to hear some of this stuff, so you kind of have these two opposite forces here, right? One of them is
pull
just
to trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them is just like, well, I can make 50,000 today. Like, what the hell do I care about any of this stuff? What do I care about any of that? And I still don't, to be quite honest. But on the other side of it, it's like, there's a part of it that's fun. There's a part of it there's a lot of learning for people involved. There's a part of it that, there's just a lot of different facets. So you can't just. I always kind of used to be one of those black and white type of people. It's like, nah, if I'm not going to do this shit, I'm not going to do this shit ever, And then you eat your words, right? 5 years later, when circumstances change or.
What was it that motivated it? Was it just you saw these younger traders that were doing the trading and the brand building?
Yep.
So you really, who you probably have beef with? Gary V, bro. Because Gary V, he was the one that told all the people in my generation, you got to have an online brand. You got to have, so it's like that probably was part of the motivation, I assume, right?
Yeah, 100%. And then when you realize like what you're really trying to do and the scope of what you're trying to do, but you want to avoid doing certain things and you want to try to just do it your own way, but you're just not accepting certain things that just need to be accepted. That was me. There's a stubborn part of me in trading and life and everything where I'll just be like, nah, screw that. Like, I'm better than this, or like, I don't have to do this, or something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's all
100%.
bullshit. It's just bullshit you sell yourself that you just got to get over. Sometimes
100%.
it takes a while.
It takes a while. But you know what? When we spoke, like a week or two ago about some TradeSpace stuff, which we'll probably touch on, you said, which was really cool for me to hear, I really got to understand the vision of TradeSpace and how impactful you as an educator can be to some of these people that are not in America, in some of these other countries.
Yes.
And I think it's, even though you call it stubbornness, which I'm sure you would agree most successful traders are pretty stubborn to some degree. So that is a requirement.
Especially when it's stuff outside of trading. Like,
of course.
It's just other shit.
Of course. So I think though, like your why was probably the reason why you made the switch on like, all right, we got to get with the marketing because of our reach. Yeah. Now we can really make an impact on people that might not have ever, you could be making 50 grand an hour, bro. Yeah. But if you're not making an impact to other humans, I know you, it ain't going to do it for you. It ain't going to scratch
There's another thing. And then the office has just had incredible energy lately. Yeah. And it's just been, of course, there's just it's a trading floor, man. So there's a lot of good emotions. There's a lot of bad emotions. And then there's a lot of discussion. Finally, we're really trading in this kind of team environment, trying to figure things out together. And, you were talking about, SMB, I think before we got on here. I mean, SMB is the pillar, man. I mean, they're the pillar of this sort of team trading kind of environment, this sort of community kind of sharing of information, sharing of problems. sharing of solutions and things like that. And they're the pinnacle, man. So, if I can recreate it without having any sort of interview process or whatever, so it's just natural. You just come to this place where you do what you do and you naturally engage with everybody around you. The engagement has been incredible lately, Austin, man. It really has been incredible. And I can't even put it into words what it is, but I know it needs to just go everywhere now.
Well, why do you think that is? Like, why is the growth so quick and now it's picking up more? It's like a snowball, it's building at the same time as you don't have a competitive threshold like SMB where you have to trade X amount of capital or X% return or trade our strategy. You have none of that. None of those requirements.
None of those requirements at all.
So you'd think it'd be a bunch of degenerates running around your office going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not. We have a good mix of everybody, right? Really experienced guys that have kind of been trading a little bit, but they want to go to another level. The one thing that works well here from an education standpoint too is the one-on-one kind of thing. So it's really an office where, especially again outside of the US, where people are not really used to this, but everybody trades. Everybody still trades. Everybody has a Forex account. Everybody has made trades before and everything, but they've never felt or been in a place like this. And the value that you get just from being in here and just from sitting in here, that's what really translates. Now, the education stuff that we're doing, which is like a one-on-one kind of boot camp situation, we're getting a lot of sales for that too. So people really want the physical thing,
camaraderie,
again. The banter. Sometimes there's gold in the banter sitting there. Yeah. You could just have one conversation and it'll change your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you sit down with some of these people, who's like the average person that comes into TradeSpace? Because I'm sure some of the listeners are probably like, I'd love to go to Puerto Rico for a couple of months because my audience is about, for this podcast, I'd say about 30% US and then the rest is international. So we have a large amount of, so I have a large amount of people in the UK and stuff like that would love to come to the sunshine and the warmth. So maybe like, give us like a little bit, maybe more of like a pitch. Give me your sales pitch. I know you don't love the marketing and the sales pitch, but give us like, why is there so much success in traders working together versus you sitting in a penthouse apartment, trading all your money by yourself, doing it that way?
I mean, I'll give you my reasoning and mine. The reason why I put this whole thing together was simply because like, it's just too much of a lonely experience, man. The experience is so lonely to the point where even if you achieve things or you lose or whatever, there's nobody that you can talk to about this stuff. And if you're let me put it this way, if you're in the place of how to trade, but you still ain't making no money, this is the only place that you should be. Because you're finally going to realize like you're not in a bad place. There's nothing wrong. And we just beat ourselves up about everything. We're traders. We beat the shit out of ourselves. And oftentimes when you're doing it by yourself in your own place, it's just this igloo, man. And that emotion can take over everything, man. And it can keep you in that place for a long period in time where you just can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel anymore.
Yeah.
And when you're physically in a space with all different types of traders, guys who have made it, guys who just started, people who just can't, get over the hump, you're not by yourself anymore, man. It gives you some confidence, man. It gives you your passion.
It's relatable. You can feel like, oh, he's having a bad day. I've had bad days. We're the same. Like, bro, what's up?
Good.
It's the same thing when you play sports with somebody. You're like, bro, we might not know each other, but by the end of this pickup game, we're homies.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you bond over a sports thing, you're that bond is strong, man. Yeah. You share a lot more information. You discuss things with each other because you already have the confidence in that person that he's going to be right there next to you while you're running down.
You trust him.
Yeah. You trust him.
Because we both went through the shit together, or we both made money together. So I trust you. I think that's big. I had Ranchero last week sit down. We did a podcast. Amazing guy. I love Ranchero. And I'm so grateful for you introducing me to him. He talked about a period where during 9/11, 3 days blew himself out over $1 million, right?
Yep.
And he then talked about how after that, he had to become more multidimensional. And it kind of got him thinking he needed to learn more information. He needed to either pay someone or get around the right people. And I think some people, tell me your experience with this, but are resistant to pay to join TradeSpace,
Yeah.
resistant to pay. They don't want to
Absolutely.
spend. I had a
Oh,
little,
100%.
yeah,
100%. 100%. So when you tell somebody about this place, they
yeah,
don't understand it right off the bat. You
right.
know what I do now too, bro? People ask me for education. I'm like, don't buy it. Don't buy my course. Just get a desk here, shut the fuck up and listen for 1 month. And they still don't do it.
It's
They still
crazy.
don't do it.
Yeah,
If you sat in this office for 1 month, it would be worth $10,000 in
more than
courses.
that,
It'd be
because
worth
you can, right,
$20,000 in
you can make
courses.
more money with all that information. There's no price. There's no
You know,
price.
and
Yeah,
trading, when you get to my level, when you get to our level, me and Austin here, like it's about feel, it's about energy, it's about, are you reading things right? It's about, do you feel right? Are you pissed off? Are you this? Are you that? It's about adjusting to all these things at the same fucking time and doing it over and over and over and over consistently. And it's difficult to stay in that mindset. It's difficult to not get stubborn. It's difficult to do, all of this stuff. But we're doing it together. We're doing it together. That means
right.
it just becomes easier.
Right. And I
You
think
know what I'm saying?
it's one of those scenarios where it's like if you pay to be a part of either a mentorship group or a trading office or like just
Hmm.
being around other traders, when you
Yeah.
pay for something, you take it more serious. Like
Yeah.
you're invested in it, right?
I'll tell you right now, the
Yeah.
older guys,
Yeah.
they don't fucking think twice. The
No.
older guys, the fun guys, the institutional guys, they don't think twice. They got a budget for this. They don't give a shit.
Right.
They'll pay the $800, $900 for a desk. They won't even use the damn thing, but it's just access for them because
Right.
they've figured it out. They figured it out. The young guys and the ones who are stuck in the middle, of course, you're still in survival mode, so you
Right.
can't see it. You
Right.
can't look at your account and be like, all right, I can afford $800 a month for this. The old guys, they'll throw it there. They'll throw it in there because one idea that comes out from a group chat in there, it's making them $2 million. Who gives a shit for them?
Right.
So
Right.
that's the kind of mentality that I'm trying to push others to have. But again, it's difficult. Obviously, it's difficult. I mean, these guys are
So
able to have $100,000 budget in
right.
subscriptions, man,
Right.
every
That
single month. They don't give a
exactly.
shit.
Well, that goes into like I know we spoke about this before, undercapitalized. These guys like and that's where
Undercapitalized.
you and me we got to talk about this prop firm stuff so we
Hmm.
get it to the people so we
Oh,
discuss this
absolutely,
because
absolutely.
that does solve the undercapitalized problem. I
Hmm.
think what you and I talked about before is just that not every trader needs to go get funded, especially depending on where you live and how much money you need to make. And
Yep.
it's like, and that's what your beef was with it, right? Where it sucks you in, it makes you break your rules, you perform not like a good trader should
That
just
was
to get
all.
this
That was my
challenge.
only beef with it. It was
Yeah,
like it was just another system that got created to take advantage. Because remember, we live in an age where the things that we use every single day, they are often the worst things for us, right? And there's often a predatory thing involved behind these systems. And
don't go
and
down the
all
conspiracy rabbit hole now,
and
Lucci. Come on, it's true
although
though.
there's light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah,
the business model is taking advantage of your of of an emotion that they can produce and reproduce over and over and over and
so
over.
well said.
You know what I'm saying? So
one Hundred
these
percent.
machines run the world right now because we're all addicted to them, no matter what they are, whether it's for entertainment, to make money, gambling, this, that, or Tinder, swiping. We're designed now to act like this. So the systems that can take advantage of it, those are the ones that are making the most money, and at the same time, those are the ones that have the critical mass, man. So
You're right.
this new platform, this funded trader thing,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just fucking blew up because it's an
Blew up.
unbelievable business model.
Yep.
It's an
It preys
unbelievable.
on the psychological probabilities, like likelihood of outcome that humans will likely
Absolutely,
make these same psychological mistakes, and they're getting rich off
absolutely,
of it.
absolutely,
100%. 100%. How
absolutely.
did you end up with? Because I know you've talked about your blowups before. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we've all had
yeah.
mistakes. How did you end up like with the money that you have to trade with now? Where did that come from? I've never asked you. Like because you trade with a fund,
Oh,
correct?
yeah. I trade the funds money, and then I'll trade my personal.
Did you
And
start that
then
fund? When you say the fund,
yeah.
you started that fund?
Started that with a friend of mine. We raised some
Nice.
capital,
Nice.
and that's the stuff I'm trading there. Then of course I got my personal account as well.
Because you know they're going to reach out to you, Lucci. One day you're going to get an email. Hey, you could white label our
Oh,
funding
they
for
already
me.
have. Oh
Right.
no, no, they already have.
I
Oh,
get them all the
100%
time.
they already have.
All the time. Yep.
And for me, I just wouldn't do it. And for you, I know you're adding the layer of, hey, let me actually give you a strategy first before you go walking in there with a fucking
That's where I'm
blindfold
finding my
on.
sweet spot. 100%.
At least you can take your community and be comfortable knowing that, hey, I gave them a strategy. Now they just got to figure out how to make it work, and they're in the pool with the rest of them. The ones that just don't even have a single fucking strategy,
They're just throwing money,
and you're just
pissing
pissing
it
away
away.
this stuff. It's
Well,
just like,
dude,
ugh.
even the part of how they offer like a 20K funded account
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
10K,
yeah.
what are you even doing with that little bit of money? That is literally just to get you sucked in, because then what
Yep,
happens? You're trading the 20K account. You're going to be happy with those wins if you're
yep,
using proper risk. No, you're going to get greedy one day and then boom, the whole thing.
yep.
Yep. Yep.
100%,
So
100%.
I know that
But yeah, over time, my bad to cut you off.
oh, go ahead.
Over
Go ahead.
time, like I just kept, well, I would just kept kind of going on runs. Like that's always been my MO. Like I'll
Yep.
go on a big run
That's always been your thing.
where I'll make several million or whatever the hell it is, and then I'll have just a quiet period. I'll just have a quiet period where I can't get it together. My life's all over the fucking place, and just that kind of up and down thing. But I'll experience it pretty
What does that
aggressively.
cycle look like? How many, like, will it be a year of a run normally?
Great question. It's like 2 years of a really, really nice run, and then it's
Okay.
like another 2 years of just dead,
Why? Is
nothing's
it
going on.
macro? Is it like
No,
Fed? What is it?
no, it's it's a cycle of it's an emotional cycle,
So
right?
it's you.
Because
It's not
yeah,
the
it's
chart.
me. No,
Okay.
me, 100%.
Okay.
Because I'll get to the, I'll get to the heights of where I want to go, and then I'm always an over. I'd like to say all human beings, like we overreach, right? We overextend, and I'll do that like crazy. So at those peaks, I always have tons of things running at the same time because there's enough cash to support all
Float
this
it.
stuff,
Yep.
right? God forbid you have a something that happens. Now you gotta back it up, and then when you back it up, there's things involved, right? There's employees involved. There's a burn rate. There's burn rates involved. There's new relationships involved. There's a girl somewhere in between all this. You know what I mean? And I get overextended from a life perspective, and then I have to figure out how to claw it. I have to figure out how to find my why again, right? So it takes me a while to figure out, okay, what the hell am I doing this for again? And it takes you a while to get back in the swing of things, man.
So
You know what
true.
I'm saying?
So true.
So this is from a me perspective. This is just kind of my process, and this is why, like, everybody talks about the "I told you so's" or what you should be doing in trading or how you could stop this and that. Everything is very personal, man.
Very
So
personal.
my shit is my shit. Nobody can tell me anything. I'm the one that eventually has to do all this work, do all this
We're
mental work.
community based, but at the end of the day, it's
100%.
you. It's me pulling the trigger. It's me making those decisions.
100%.
And it is very
And
personal.
me being around all these guys, even the young cats, they'll teach me shit, and I'll be like, okay, maybe I can use this now next time, and
Are
then
they
I'll get.
teaching you something psychologically that you see and you take from them? Or are they teaching you something technically on
It's
the
more
chart?
technical.
Okay.
It's more technical.
An
It's
asset to trade, something to go get
yeah,
into a
it's more
strategy, some
technical
new.
because remember, you're talking about people who haven't experienced the past like I have, right?
Right.
So
Great point.
if you don't have the experience,
2008,
if you don't
2001.
have particular experiences, you don't even know what the fuck they look like. So why would they be etched in your brain anywhere?
Right.
You've already, as a younger person, you've already kind of figured out whatever the strategy that works for right now.
Right.
And if that shit is working right now, then I need to see it. I need to
Right.
see it. I need to at least smell it. I need to at
Right.
least figure out why that's
And
working
maybe
and why
take a
whatever.
little bit of it into your
Just take
thing.
a little bit, take a
Yep.
little bit of sauce right there, and be like, all
Exactly.
right, this is what I'm not seeing right now. And then a lot of it to me is just that mental pushing that I'll do because, again, I have a lot of expectations for myself. I have a lot of, you know,
How do you
I
balance that though? Because normally when I talk with guys,
oof,
like the expectations lead to downfall. So I, I'm
100%.
I'm constantly talking to people about realistic expectations, realistic
100%.
returns. So how do you
I think
balance
that's a
that?
I think that's a great thing that you're doing. I don't think people do it enough
Yeah.
because and again, this is the individual thing that's just cooked up in their freaking house all day, and all they can think about is where they should be in life,
Yeah.
and they're not even close, and it's just super unrealistic about even how they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So then you come to the market every day with that attitude, of course you're gonna get smoked. So me, how I balance it, honestly,
Yeah.
it's not pretty, bro. It's not pretty. It's
No?
pretty ugly.
Why?
It's
Why?
ugly. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I beat myself up more than
It's so,
anybody else.
dude, anyone listening to this is going to be like, how is
Yeah.
Lucci beating himself up? He's running an office. He's got a
Yeah.
huge trading account. He knows how to trade. He's got real estate. He's got this. How is Lucci beating himself up? But
But
that's
I
the high
do.
standards that you hold yourself to. That's the
100%.
difference. Look,
100%.
right? Nowadays, especially, you're older than me. You know, people are soft, bro. Low
Soft.
standards, soft attitudes, can't be challenged. They bend in a second. So soft, right?
Oh.
Look, see, I can tell, right? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't
It's
make
almost
for
like
good
you
trading.
can't even talk to them like
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
It's like they just shut down.
And then they call you an asshole,
And then they
even just
call
for
you an
asking
asshole.
questions. You
They
ask
call
them
you an
questions,
asshole.
they get triggered, and then they're like, we can't have a discussion and just disagree. And that's where, like, I'm sure you'll know.
I'm so happy that you have experience in this because
Oh
most
my
people
God.
don't understand it.
Well,
Like,
because when you sit with other traders and you actually get to see this with people, and
Right.
when you're sitting with somebody, so like I'll coach guys that have taken my
Right.
course and they're trading the way I trade, but I also coach guys that trade their own way, and we try
Right.
to make that work. And I'll sit there and just say, why is your stop loss here?
Right.
What's the, like, that's just that. Why is this the risk point? Now let's pull up your last 10 trades. Every trade, it's different. So
Right.
is there a repeatable thing here, or are you just winging it? And then they get triggered. They get real bothered by that I pointed out something, a fact. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah.
But that's the truth. That's the truth. And people can't handle the reality or the truth.
Well, that's because
That
trading's not
particular
for
truth.
everybody, right? Like you've met people that are not trading anymore. I know people that are not trading anymore. It's not
Yep.
for everybody. It's
Yep.
very stressful. I recently, not to plug this is Jared Tendler. Are you familiar with this book?
No.
You got to check this out. So
All
I just had him on the podcast before Ron
Okay.
Shero. He coaches traders, golfers, and professional poker players. And he talked about how recently he just coached an esports team that made $14 million in one tournament. And he talked about how everyone wants to get into
High
trading.
level.
High level, bro. I mean, he's like 40 grand to work with him. Like, he's expensive.
Yep.
So he talks about in trading and the traders he's worked with and poker, people think that they want to remove the emotion. He's like, how would you remove the emotion? You're competing in the most competitive, most large financial market in the world, and you want to be emotionless?
I love it.
It's so true, right? It's more about being aware of the emotions.
I love it.
Why do you say you love it? Because you know it's true?
Because that's what the office is too, by the way.
Why?
There's so much emotion here,
So much
flying around all the time. This is what it should be.
Right.
Like trading floors should be like this.
Throwing stuff at each other some days.
If there was no emotion,
right,
then it would just be an electronic pit with nothing.
You'd be bots. Just get a data server and run servers.
It's what makes us us, and it's what makes the market move the way it fucking does.
Yep.
You wouldn't see all this extreme ass shit happening if there wasn't human beings behind any of this stuff. You wouldn't see it. So why try to hide it? And especially with the younger generation, because they don't even want to express it. And if they have to, it's so uncomfortable for them. Yep. Oh my God. They just shut down. Shut down.
Yep. Do you feel like the younger guys too often, like, with the unrealistic expectations and then not being able to, like, have the critical thinking to be like, maybe I'm wrong, that bigger ego, that hubris, that's what really hangs them up? Like, what are some of the issues that you see common with the guys in the office that are struggling? That's the question.
Biggest one, number one, is not the undercapitalized from the trading account perspective, but you don't have enough savings. So you're heavy
rent.
You're heavy in survival mode.
Yep.
And you can't. There's no way you can beat survival mode until you beat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, until
you can't beat survival mode in the market. You got to get. Yeah,
exactly.
I've never seen somebody quit their job and be like, yo, I'm trading full time and I'm crushing it. No way. They build up a savings net. Or most of the guys I know, like you, have other income streams, whether it's real estate or another business. Like, they have other money.
You need it. I mean, even when I was starting out, I had my ticket business. I had my ticket business that was making me like anywhere from $2,000 to like $6,000.
What were you doing? Scalping tickets, flipping tickets, like sports tickets?
Yeah,
I do remember hearing that a long time ago in one of your
concerts
podcasts.
and all that.
Yeah.
So I would make from like $2,000 to $6,000, and this was when I was like 23, 24 and everything, and that was like enough to hold me over. But again, like, I was still hustling and scraping together what I could. I just had my kid at that time, so there was a lot of things just kind of going on, and it was difficult to manage all of this stuff. But at least you have 6 months of just where you don't have to think about it. If that's what you're thinking about, you can't get past that.
No.
You can't get past that. So even if you're looking at tape, the tape's not tape. What the tape will tell you is, I owe $200 in fucking toilet paper.
Dude.
I owe $200 in fucking baby formula. I owe
Bro,
$400 in
you're
gas.
so right,
That's
bro.
what the
The
tape.
chart just, yeah, bro,
So
100%.
now your chart just looks like that all day. You're just looking
Well,
at
you start looking at the money. And then when you're
exactly,
looking at the money, you're far from the
exactly,
process. And then
far
when you're
from
far
it.
from the process, you're never going to scale. You're never going to scale.
100%, 100%. And
Okay,
the
so
other ones,
undercapitalized is a big problem.
exactly. The other ones, it's they think in their head of where they should be or where they want to be, and they act like it's now, right? So if what
Explain.
they're doing now does not compute with what it should look like, it doesn't even matter if you win or lose. You're just pissed off all the time. You're pissed off all the time. You're just upset about everything all the time.
You see the negative. It's like that
Yeah.
meme where the one person's looking out the bus and it's dark, and the other side of the bus she's looking out and it's sunny. And it's like, what side are you? Right.
What side you want to look at? Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And again, it's mostly the younger guys that don't have enough experience dealing with
It's like
what
that,
looks like and
dude.
what that
It's
feels
being
like.
young. You think when you're young, like, because I'm 28 now. I just turned
Yeah, you
28.
think
So
you fucking know everything.
I'm going into the old age part, and I know
Yeah.
it, bro. You think when you're young, I'll just figure it out. I'll figure it out. Experience,
Yep.
bro. I don't need, now that I have 8 years of looking at markets every day, I'm like,
Yep.
experience is everything.
It's everything.
It teaches you to feel, like you said. It teaches you when to know when to step.
Yep.
I hear you in my head. I want you to know I'm not gassing you up, but like, because you have taught me a lot. Like, I look at you like a mentor.
Thank you.
Said to me, you may have said in a video, you said, you got to know when your market's hot and you got to know when your market's not. And I say that all the time, and I always give you credit, bro, because it's so true.
Yeah.
You have to know when to step on the throat, right?
Yeah. And again, we will choose not to look at things we feel in our instinct that are saying, hey, motherfucker, look, this is not working right now. But we will force it because of all these external factors that don't matter.
They don't matter.
They don't matter.
They don't matter.
So we can't look beyond right now. Where most people just, especially the younger guys, you can't look beyond right now and realize, like, hey, this strategy works. All I got to do is sit here and work this shit, and it's gonna come,
dude.
You know. You
100%.
can't just, most people just can't sit back and say that. I mean, shit, I can't sometimes when I'm in the height of my emotions and I'm feeling all this stuff and I'm back, for example, I'll give you another example. After, like, during COVID, and then there was a hurricane down here. Like, I lost probably $1 million, $2 million in cannabis, right? Because I had our first harvest about to come in. And, once that happened, I had already invested like I'm in a mill deep in this project, and I was supposed to recoup all that from the sale. We already had the POS, and we already had the
this shit was about to go out the door.
It was about to go out the door. It was already sold, and boom, that happens. So then, not only did I not want to put in another $1 million just to get the heavy machinery back that we lost. The investor that I had found, he also was just like, shit hit the fan for him, and he couldn't support the burn rate either. So then you're just kind of scrambling. You're scrambling to save this business. Now, because that business now is taking your time, you got something else here that's suffering because you're not spending enough quality. Business is quality time. That's what we're talking about here. Business is not anything different than a relationship that requires time. You got to water some fucking plants here. You got to spend some time with all this stuff. And if you're not, now you got problems over here. Now you got problems over there. And me, when I overreach, it feels like I got problems everywhere, man.
Right.
And how the hell can I solve this when I ain't even making money trading?
Right.
So now it's just compounded, man.
So what do you do then? Do you take a break?
Do
you take a break?
Take a break is number one.
Okay.
But number two is slim shit down, right?
Yeah.
You got to start cutting stuff out.
Solve the problems or get it off your plate.
Exactly. Or solve the problems or get them off your plate. If you have to close a business or two, fuck it. That's what you got to do. And then you can come back down the line and pick it up later.
But bro, see your perspective. Fuck it. Like, this is what you got to do. Most people, ego is attached. I don't want to fail. I got to.
Can't do it.
No, they can't do it. They can't let go of the thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Can't do it. You can't do it. And I don't blame them because it's your baby, right? It's your baby. It's something that you spent all this time on. You invested all your dreams, resources, and time and effort and all that kind of stuff in. So you can't just pull off.
Right.
But we're traders, bro. We're traders. I think that's the difference why traders make great businessmen too.
Yeah.
I think traders make amazing
Once
business.
they figure it out that sometimes you got to cut your losses. Because
Once they
being a
figure it out.
trader, like what you do really well, bro, as much as you're a great trader, you're a good loser. When you're
Yeah.
wrong, you've learned how to be wrong and just stop the bleeding. If you wouldn't
100%.
have figured that out, bro, these blowups would have gotten bigger and bigger until you stopped.
Huge, man.
So
You know
traders
what I mean?
are good losers. Businessmen can make like strong decisions and take the loss and cut the
Yeah.
loss when they have to.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that too, that's another highlight of TradeSpace. You meet so many traders who have other businesses. There's a kid in here who's about to launch a competing product to OnlyFans, and he has an
Really?
agency for all that kind of stuff. And then he trades on the side. There's a kid who's got 1,000 Bitcoin ATMs here. That's just fucking.
I've seen that popping too. Yeah,
printing money every single day.
Yep,
There's another guy. There's another guy who's got a real estate trust. You know, there's so many things going on here, and just a simple conversation that you have with somebody who has just a like mind, because nobody really thinks like traders, right? You could have a regular co-working spot and you could go roll through there as a trader.
They're not
but you
the
still
same.
wouldn't fit. It's not the
No
same.
way. No way.
When you talk to an actual trader that's just right there next to you, that's just it's just conversations.
You
It's just
know
what
that you think
hear.
the same. You're thinking in probabilities and everything.
Exactly.
You're looking at outcomes and odds.
Exactly.
You're playing out scenarios. Average people aren't doing that, bro. They just don't.
Immediately they're like, "Oh shit, bro! I had that same problem last year, man. Here's how I figured that shit out."
Yep.
And you just walked into your office that day. I mean, what else could I ask for?
And that was why I was so interested in it with you, because it's like it's X amount of money for a desk for a year or whatever, bro. One conversation opens up you getting into the cannabis business or whatever, and now you're 10xing that investment. People just have to see that, you know.
Exactly. And I'm invested in so many of the things that get brought over here. I don't have to go. It's almost like a freaking incubator.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
It's just ideas. You flesh them out with everybody that's in here, and then you take a shot if it's on the table.
Because then when you have smart people that think in probabilities all coming together on an idea, you really get to the best version of that idea. There's no bullshit. What do you think? Because like now you've seen new guys, you've seen older guys come into the office. I struggle with some of the guys when I'm coaching them. Like I've had a guy who's been trading for 6 years, 7 years. He's come to a couple seminars. He's in the coaching program. He always modifies. Like we have a strategy called the A2. The A2 has been back tested with Python, 20,000 trades. Use this 1618 stop loss. And Joe's going to listen to this and be like, I know you're talking about me, Austin, but it's like, how do I get Joe to stop tweaking the stop loss off the system that we know works?
You can't.
No.
You can't. I'm telling you right now, you can't. You want to know why?
Yeah.
It's because it's the human aspect of it, right? That requires and needs to make it their own, right? This man needs to, for whatever reason, and it could be so many different things. I've seen a kid. I'm dealing with that right now, man. I'm literally dealing with that.
You know what I'm saying? I knew you would know, bro.
Here's the shit. All you have to do is shut the fuck up and do it. However, of course, there's still a level of discretion here required, right? And because there's any level of discretion required, somebody's going to look at something completely different than you. And then there's the stubborn stuff that comes into it too. They want to make it theirs. They want to feel like it was theirs, you know, it wasn't given to them, even though what's given to them is making money.
I need to put all of these people in a bucket because I've encountered them my whole career.
Yeah.
Like they always come around. And then there's some people that are so good at taking what you write, like taking the blueprint and duplicating it. It's like, damn, bro, you're going to be good. You've got that duplication skill.
I'll throw something else though at you.
Please.
Sometimes the ones that want to go about it themselves, no matter what you give them, they'll come out with some shit, man.
That's you.
Because they'll
That's
come
me.
out with some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're so motivated. But you as the teacher, you're the most pissed off person in the world because you're just not, you feel like you're not even getting your point across and not even listening to you because they want to do their own thing. But if you sit there and really watch and you give it some time,
they can do it.
Some of these guys come up with some shit and you're just like, oh, that's what you're up to.
Dude,
and
100%.
You as the teacher, you don't even want to buy into whatever the fuck it is they're doing because you're just waiting for them to shit the bed and come back to you and be like, hey, you were right kind of thing. So there's a level of ego and stubborn that we have as well as the educators. So sometimes there's a lot of friction that happens.
That's where you got to be like the good scout and you got to be able to pick your guys and know. Like I had a guy that's in the program.
What do you do for screening? If you don't mind me asking.
So
what do you do for screening?
Like who will come into the program? So everybody has to do.
How do you screen the shitty ones? Like, is there even a way or what do you do?
Mine is priced at $3,000 for the 12 weeks. It's only 12 weeks at a time. So that's
Okay, so
already
the ones that can afford that, that's it. You already knocked out
a
a
good
bunch of
screen.
people.
But also when you go to my website, and I think
Mhm,
you guys do this as well, I
mhm.
offer to book a free call for 10 minutes with me. The no
Uh-huh.
salesperson, it's me. I get
Okay.
to look at them. I get to talk to them about how long they've been trading, where they find me, what's the deal. And I find a lot of my best guys come from this podcast. They're normally a little bit older. They have the
Because
money to
they've seen what you're talking about. Yeah, mine
correct.
too. Yeah, mine
Yeah.
too.
And then but you post the shit on Instagram. The audience on Instagram is going to be the shittiest audience. I love my Instagram followers. They're the worst. They want the free, they want the cheap, they want short. They're the
Yep.
worst.
Yep.
They're just the worst. You'll get a
Yep.
couple of good occasions. So like my screening is on that call. And on that call, I'll say, hey, I've said it before. Maybe this isn't a good fit for you. You don't have any previous trading experience. Like it's going to be very hard for me to coach you. Where like
Right.
I can make my best impact and get more good reviews on
Right.
somebody that's a little bit more established. So that's
Right.
why I'm selective, and as you are, I'm sure in a way, because it's like I don't want to waste my time if I don't think it's going to be profitable for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's not profitable for you, it's not profitable for us.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
We
if
both have to.
the guy's going to pay me $3,000, he better be making that $3,000 back as quick as possible in the
Right.
program or right after it. And if I don't
Right.
feel like you're going to make your money back and some,
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it from you because I don't need it.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to do that. It's
Well,
not good business.
how far into the program do you realize that maybe you made a mistake on somebody? Like, has that happened?
Probably within 4 weeks. Within the first
Within
month, I can
four
tell
weeks,
if
you
they're
just know.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
I can
you just
tell
know.
like if they're gonna. It's really about their effort. I'm very honest. Like
Yep.
I'll be like I'm honest with them. You're gonna need to do because we do daily report cards. They have to
Yep.
track everything. It
Yep.
requires detailed markups of all their trades and tracking and all. Like I'm like, if you give effort to this, it is
Yeah.
going to work. Because
Yeah.
I mean, if you just tell a trader to start tracking everything, most people won't do it. Some people will try to, but the guys that do it really well will see the
Mhm.
biggest improvement.
And
Just
then made a
tracking
habit,
shit.
and then
Yeah,
made a habit out
made
of
a
it.
habit of it because then you get to see your repeated errors. And when you
Yeah.
see your repeated mistakes, you stop making them as much. You start
Yeah.
making them less often. They start costing you less money. And that's
Yeah.
really what I've been helping people do. So, like, 4 weeks into the program, bro, I can tell who's giving good effort. I can tell
Right.
who's listening and receiving and being open minded. And I can tell
Right.
who's not, who's off doing their own thing. And at the
Yeah.
end of the 12 weeks, we're not going to invite them to stay. We're going to part ways and we're good.
And that's it. Okay.
That's
So
it.
that's part of the program, though. And in 12 weeks, you get a little period. You get a
And
little
a little review.
reassessment or something.
Exactly. So
And
most
then,
of them we're not offering for them to stay, but
yeah.
some of them I like working with them. They like working with us. We
Yeah.
invite them to stay for another 12 weeks and we keep working. If they want to maybe pass a funding challenge or want to scale, that's what we'll
Right.
do.
Are these guys remote? They're remote,
All
right?
are remote. Everything's remote.
Everybody's remote,
So we joke around all the time because we say I tell people on the call, it's like a prop firm, but virtual. Like if I
but
could throw
virtual.
something at you, I would,
Yeah.
because we're all on Discord. We're all cameras
That's
on
where
like
it
this.
gets fun, though, man.
Oh, it's so much fun, bro. I wish we
That's
were
where
in
it
person
gets
because I would be
fun,
so
Austin.
lit, bro. Every morning, I know
It's like
getting everybody up.
it's like we're doing this sometimes, and I'm like, this is what we do every day. Okay, cool. And sometimes we make money, and sometimes we don't. And information is exchanged and all this kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
if we lose the fun in it, man,
No,
if we lose then we lose the feeling of, we lose all of the feeling of what it feels to be great,
yes.
and to fail hard and fall flat on your face.
Well, you know what they say, bro, right? Like when you live in a city like Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and nobody's really nice to each other because there's humans everywhere. You're
Yeah.
desensitized to all the humans.
Oh yeah.
Look at it the other way. When you're a trader who's used to trading on his own, and then you
Yeah.
put him in even a virtual community around other very like-minded entrepreneurial people that are willing to pay and be in there, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, they instantly realize how
Yeah.
important humans are. They see the value in it.
There's an accountability factor. It's like going to the gym with your buddy and shit like
Dude,
that. You know what I
100%.
mean? You're not just doing it alone.
I think it puts us in a good point. Like as educators, we can know. Like I know from seeing other people and now from doing this for a good amount of time, people will pay money to be held accountable. And I enjoy coaching and motivating people. I can tell when sometimes bro, you got to just sit with somebody and give them the fucking sauce, make them confident in themselves.
You know what my pitch is for
Yeah.
the diamond course that we're selling at TradeSpace? This is
Yeah.
the one where it's full immersion. You come
And you get
down
to come
here,
and you stay there
you
and do the whole
live
thing.
here for
Yep.
3 months.
Yep. It's like
and
15 grand, right?
15 grand. It's every single day we're looking at trades together.
You're
We're
an
in a
exchange
Discord
student.
chat.
Yeah.
My pitch to everybody who gets on the phone is,
Yeah.
you're going to come down here and I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Right.
It's literally my pitch. And they're like, that's exactly what I need. And I'm
Take my
like,
money. Yes. Hold me accountable,
You're
please.
the right guy. You know
Yes.
what I mean? If you're
Yes.
telling me that you can handle it, all
Right.
right, I'll take you on. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
because that's how you know you can sharpen them into something amazing.
Because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm literally gonna beat the shit out of you every day. You fucking do anything.
Right.
I'm gonna just crawl up your ass about it
And then
until
at the end of the day, we're going to have fun. We're going to still do
we're
these
gonna
jobs.
have fun.
And
Exactly.
I'm sure you have some memories with the guys in the office that it parallel some of the best trades that y'all have
A
taken
hundred
in the
percent.
office.
A
You're
hundred
doing
percent.
windsurfing. You did that kite surfing,
A
windsurfing team
hundred
thing, right? I
percent.
saw
A
that.
100%, man.
Beach
It just
tennis,
makes
fucking Joe down at the end of the
yeah,
desk beat
man.
Jim, and they fucking,
It makes it so it makes it so much more engaging.
I
You
know,
know what I'm
bro.
saying?
I
So
know.
it and I think that's part of the field. There's a lot of people that are stuck believing that I can't believe this is what I do for a living kind of thing, and they feel like they're so bored most of the day, so then they put on fucking dumb trades
Dumb
and
trades.
they
Yeah.
just end up blowing up, and that's a self-fulfilling prophecy to go back
Every
to work
time.
anywhere,
Every time. Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing this as a group, and then for me, I always get inspiration from the younger guys. I have this one kid sitting next to me right now. He's ranked in the world now as a beach tennis player. The kid's fucking disgusting.
Is that Matt?
19
Matt?
years old. No, 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 not
Okay.
Matt. This other kid, 19 years old. He's from here,
Okay.
and he wants to travel the world and play beach tennis. And
That's awesome.
I'm like, bro, you can't get a job, man. You can't even get a job right now. So what are you gonna do? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, we're gonna try something. You're gonna sit your ass next to me, and we're gonna try some shit here. And I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know. But you know, one thing I do know: all these tennis players and any of these sports guys, they fail every day, every day. They learn to live with loss every day
Every
because
day.
you lose every day.
Yeah.
But you come back and you work, and
Yep.
they practice and practice and practice
Yep.
and practice.
Yep.
So if you can already do that at the highest level, come on. We gotta be able.
To make
There's
something happen.
gotta be able
Yes.
to do this as well. So
Debo, you're like a talent scout.
if I can prove that,
That'd be
then what I'm
huge.
going to do is put the TradeSpace offices very near the beach tennis communities as well, because this is Brazil, which I already wanted to be in, Venezuela, Colombia. These are all the places where beach tennis is crazy. So it already kind of helps. And again, we're just talking about people here,
That's it.
people, what they need, and things like that. That's all we're talking about. So
That's it. So listen, let's transition real quick. Markets right now.
sure,
This
sure,
is good conversation on everything else. Let's talk about markets.
sure.
I want to know, because I think this is something you haven't talked about in other like podcasts where you've talked about strategy and things like that. What do you look at on the macro to help drive your options trades? Because everything is options for you right now still,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. What
Everything's
I'm
options.
looking at now
Yeah.
on a macro
And what are you
level,
trading? Are you trading SPY, NASDAQ? What are you trading mostly? Individual stocks?
I'll trade the ES futures. I'll trade SPX. I'll trade
Yep.
SPY. The
Yep.
options that goes with those.
Yep.
I'll even trade the ES options too.
Okay.
And then I'll trade the large caps, right?
So the
I'll
market, you're trading
yeah,
the market.
yeah,
Same as
100%.
me. Yep.
Just shit that moves with the Tesla will be up there, the Nvidias and all this kind of stuff will be up there as well. I will look for really big reversals from trend moves, right? So let's say, I don't know, a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, we were at like 380 SPY, 390 SPY.
Yep.
And then we just raged to like 410. Everybody who was stuck short just got smoked.
Yep.
And then when those things happen, we always go into a period of consolidation and then we reverse. The problem is to time that reverse, especially when you're trading options. Number one, on the one hand, it's going to be the most profitable trade you ever made. There's a 10x in there somewhere. There's a 5x in there somewhere. There's definitely a 2, 3x in there somewhere.
Right.
The problem is what kind of pain and suffering do you have to sit through to get to the money? So that's my world. That's always my world. So currently in this place that we are right now, it's kind of like we're still stuck in that range. We faded off the highs, but the question is do we now sell the fuck off with some gusto?
I hope so.
Or do we continue spinning into the names that have gotten beaten down?
I don't want to spin. I want to sell off, bro.
And then we just float, right? We just float. We just sit in this world where this weird dust is going on.
Right.
And
Uncertainty.
You have names like a Peloton going higher while the rest of the market is going down simply because this thing is beaten down and people are putting money into it kind of thing. And the same thing is happening in crypto too.
Yep.
So crypto, you'll see BTC just doing
down 1%
nothing,
today. Nothing.
just doing nothing. Ether just sitting in a 100-point range, just doing nothing.
Yep.
And then you'll still see these shitty altcoins pop up out of nowhere.
Right. So are you going to look to chase that play, or are you going to wait and see?
I'll wait for those, and I'll fade them. I'll fade all of those.
Will you size down into them like with less risk, or do you still put full risk onto those fades?
Nah, I'm super sized down in the fades. When BTC was crashing from 60, that was the time where
we were nailing it, bro. I was tweeting at you like, look,
put up numbers, man. I put up numbers.
Yeah, you did.
And then unfortunately, FTX took all my fucking dough, man.
No way, bro. You had money in FTX.
I had 200K, 300K in there, bro.
Wow.
So that was my money game, man. That was my money game. That was my whole shit.
So wait, do we blame Spencer for putting you with FTX?
Nah. Who do we blame? We blame me because you know what the messed up, and this is a great story actually.
Yeah, tell me.
I'm trading GME.
Okay.
At like 30s, mid 30s. And I'm like, this shit's going to teens. I don't care what anybody says. The problem was that all the options were priced so bad that even if you caught 5 points on it, you weren't making no fucking money anywhere. So then I started to figure out, like, okay, FTX has what's called these tokenized stocks, which are technically nothing.
The FTT token, right?
Exactly. These are technically nothing.
They're made up. They're made up.
They're just perpetual swaps on a stock, which trades as a mirror to whatever the actual stock is, right? But there's no liquidity. There was no liquidity in GameStop whatsoever on this contract. And supposedly you owned, if you bought shares in this contract, supposedly you owned a piece of GME as well, but they could never prove the shit. They're going to court for it now, saying that they defrauded everybody, talking about if you buy this tokenized Apple based in BTC, what did you actually fucking buy? They were telling everybody you had shares, but you didn't really have any shares.
Right.
It's just dust, right?
It's dust, bro.
It's nothing.
Digital dust.
So what ended up happening was I looked at that tokenized stock and I was like, holy shit, this is an unregulated product. I have 20x leverage on this. I have 50x leverage on this. I could take 50 grand and short $1 million worth
turn it into 5 million
on this fucking account right here.
Right.
And I was like, boom, there's my solution right there. So forget about the options. Forget about that. I took 50 grand, threw it in this FTX thing, and I shorted the shit out of this thing. I had like fucking 40,000 shares of this thing, 50,000 shares of this thing.
Wow.
And the leverage was stupid that they were giving me. At no point was I in risk of a drawdown or whatever because my timing was that good. I was already kind of like 5 points in the money. So I'm up crazy. I'm like, this shit's going to fucking teens. So why the fuck would I even pull off?
Right.
Now, the day that Binance CEO comes out and was like, yo, we're selling FTT tokens. Something's fishy over here. I'm sitting in the office. Spencer is next to me. He's like, bro, I think you got a problem here.
Oh, my God.
I look at the market, right? I look at the market, and liquidity just started drying up on the books all across everywhere.
Okay.
And then at that moment, I realized I was already too late because there was no way I could cover my position.
Right.
There was no liquidity. So I would have had to cover 10 points up. There was no market maker there.
No.
So even though on paper I'm on fucking $500,000 on this thing. This thing was trading around like 25 or something, 26. In my head I was like, I just got to wait for a seller to come back in, and then maybe I'll get out, right? So I had maybe a window of like 2 hours. By the time the Binance CEO kicked out all that shit, it started the panic mode on everything, and then it just catapulted, it just snowballed into some shit. And then I remember 2 hours later, I look at the market, zero, nothing. It's ghost.
That's crazy. I mean, that would break some people, Lucci, but you have experience where you've been through this before.
Yeah. I mean, it sucked. Don't get me wrong. It totally sucked. But
of course,
it's again, as you said, I know how to lose.
You have experience. Man. That's why you did it, right?
I know how to lose, man.
So I'll share with you real quick. I had the guy. He's on Twitter as Reverse Long. Do you know David Capablanca?
Of course, man. Of course, David's cool because he's good people, man.
David's good people. So David was just on the podcast last week. He told me about this experience he had. Do you know what I'm going to tell you about traveling to Colombia to expose some company that was a fucking
Oh,
scam?
love that story.
Bro,
Love that story.
love that. He literally, in the beginning of the podcast, because his handle is the reverse long.
The
He's like,
reverse long.
bro, he's like, he got the reference from Flash, the movie. The
Oh.
bad guy in Flash was the reverse Flash. So he's the reverse long. And in the beginning of the podcast, bro, he's like, I want you to know. He's like, I'm the reverse long. I'm like, bro, I'm ready for him to rip his shirt off and have like the reverse long on his chest. Like he really got on a freaking plane and a bike and drove out to this company, took pictures of that there was nothing there, and exposed this whole scam. So I thought that was super interesting too. But even there, like, look at that experience that teaches him about like what some of these. So it's always about experience, bro. All of these unique opportunities, and that's what keeps trading interesting for us. There's always a new problem to solve. There's always a new opportunity.
Yeah, man. That's what always makes it. Yeah, it's always a game that you can come back to.
What did you learn from the FTX thing? What are you going to do next time?
Oof.
Is there anything to learn? Because like it's like you got rug pulled by these guys that are running the companies.
What did I learn, man? Man, it's like the buy. You know what I learned? Really, it's just more about the human condition, man.
Why?
If you're able to promote a company, and you're able to have the top minds of top
who, like Kevin O'Leary?
Anything. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I consider him a top mind, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
he's
a talking head, right?
Yes,
we're talking about talking heads here who are considered top minds.
Yeah.
Everybody's in this shit, man.
Right.
Everybody and their mothers are in this shit. And you're telling me nobody, not a soul? Now they're starting to look at the books, talking about they got QuickBooks going on.
Right.
Catching this girl on interview, talking about
no stop losses.
No stop losses or this and that. Like, what is this?
It's almost funny, bro. It's like it's a joke.
It's hilarious.
Right.
It's like going back and looking at that Madoff Netflix shit, and you're like, how
did no one know?
How the fuck? But everybody had a feeling.
Yes.
But it's almost like you just toss it.
Blissfully ignorant.
As human beings, you just kind of toss it aside. If it's working, nobody questions it. Nobody says anything.
Spot on. That's blissfully ignorant is a part of our condition. Yeah.
It's like we just allow and how much other things do we allow? Ourselves to just be oblivious on,
right?
Because it's comfortable for us,
right?
It's comfortable for us, and it's uncomfortable for us to have those conversations where, oh my God, we really got fucking scammed here. I can't believe this. I can't.
And then sometimes you just take it. Like this situation, there might just be we take it. Like that is the lesson. Like we got in with everybody and we just take it.
Yeah. But you want to go back and you want to start blaming people. You want to start blaming this and that.
Bro,
it's like,
that ain't going to do any good.
What are we talking about here, man? No. And then for these forensic crypto scientists to now go through the blockchain, block by block to figure out what the hell happened. I'm sorry, but that shit's going to take 2 years. I mean, even if you had a team of fucking 10 people, number one, nobody knows how to look at that shit, man.
That's what I'm saying,
nobody knows how to look at that shit, man.
Right.
So you need to – SEC doesn't even have these people yet that can look at this stuff, man. You got to contract an outside third party. Now you're dealing with all this kind of stuff.
Money?
Where's their bias? We as humans, this is just kind of what I learned, man. It's just – man, we can do some great things, but we are fucking stupid sometimes, man. And we'll just go that whole herd mentality thing. Once you see everybody filing through a door, that's it. We just go. We just go. We don't think. We just go. So how far can that herd mentality go? And by the way, that's how I trade the markets. I try to watch and wait for what is this herd doing.
Yep.
And when they all have to run and stampede for the exit, that's my spot.
And that is what
been that guy.
And that's what Ron said about you, that you made a big difference in teaching him how to read the tape. And that was what helped bring the psychology and the technicals. It brings it all together, is seeing the tape. So last thing here, and then I'll let you go. This has been great, bro. I mean, I love the conversation always. I know we always have a good time. Give me a prediction. I know you're not a predictor.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Fed probably raising rates, unemployment probably going up, SPY at 39.87. I crushed, and I know you did, shorts last week from 40.50, 40.60 down.
Yeah, it was nice.
Great shorts. We're sitting at 4,000. 4,000 to me seems like it's our new ceiling as we keep coming down. We had 43, then 42, now 4,000. What do you think? Where do we finish?
I think
6 months from now, June.
I think there's some dirty shit that is going on here that.
All right, come on, give us more than. What does that mean? Explain.
I think there's too many people stuck short. I think there's too many people short, and I think there's going to be a day of reckoning where we just explode, man, to 420,
You think
430,
so? Really?
something. And that's going to be
So you
your
think we got
entry for
another
sure.
pop to take them
I
out
think
and
I
then we
think
go?
there's something weird going on every day where don't allow they don't allow these names to just die. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They don't allow it. It's not the same selling that we got before at all. It
In
is not the same
2022. This is
selling
different.
this is completely different.
Okay.
This is a completely different scenario. Now, can that selling come back if there's enough panic? Fine. But where's that panic going to come from? We already know. We already know what's coming. We already know. We're already hit for the worst one could say. We're already prepared for it.
When you say that,
So
you mean the rate hikes?
I'm talking about the rate hikes. I'm talking
Yes.
about the rate hikes. You
Yes.
know, so and then all these news, the jobs numbers that keep coming out, they're better than expect. I don't know how the fuck is that possible when every single company is laying people
That
off.
is,
There's some weird ghost phantom ass bid that is sitting around here, and they're chomping up shit like Nvidia. They're chomping up shit like Netflix. They're chomping up shit like oil names. They're buying steel names. They're buying fucking banks. I don't know. It's just this thing
so
that's
give us the
there.
thought prediction.
The
6 months, June.
prediction is
June.
there's too many shorts here, and they're gonna get fucking destroyed, man.
When they get destroyed
And
and we
when they
see,
get destroyed,
will
that is
that, that's
when
when
you
you,
go short.
right,
That is when
because
you fucking
then
short.
if we get one more strong pop like that and
Hmm.
we go to 42,
Hmm.
41.50 again, I think you're
Hmm.
going to really hear everybody be like, October lows, they're the
You're
lows. Like,
yeah,
and that's the
100%.
time to start looking for shorts because now
That's the
everybody's
time,
going long.
and that's the time.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to
Okay.
happen. And again, I mean, it's that kind of what. That's how I'll do it. I'll create these kind of theories
Yep.
in the bigger picture, and
Me
then I'll
too.
shorten them down
Yep.
and try to prove them intraday. I'll try to prove them somehow intraday. Oh, look what we did here at this level. Oh,
Which
look
must
what we
be
did
tricky
over
because then you're
here.
balancing confirmation bias, right?
100%, 100%. Because now
That's what
you
I'm
want to shoot.
struggling with.
Because now you want to shoot when you
Oh,
feel like you got something, but it's
exactly.
bullshit. It's bullshit. There's
It's
nothing
bullshit.
behind it.
Right. Because then
So
you look at like those levels last week, we get news that's bearish. Okay, now I'm getting and everything on Twitter's bearish. I'm like, everything is telling me short. Like, am I sure I want to short this? Should I, you know what I'm saying?
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why it didn't work. That's exactly why it didn't freaking work. And that's exactly why every single day things are a little bit different. All those earnings pops that we
Hmm.
got, a
Hmm.
lot of those faded off, like
They
the
all faded.
Roblox, great
Home Depot.
earnings.
Yep.
Dump, Home Depot,
Yep.
a lot of these names, there's Airbnb even, great
Airbnb.
earnings, dumped
Yep.
it out,
Yep.
You still have a name like an Nvidia here who had great earnings and then holding up
Well,
and
that's only because of AI, right? So
yeah,
this next bubble that I think we're going to go through, if there is a
sure.
bubble coming, it's going to be
Sure,
AI
it's the
driven,
AI thing.
the AI bubble.
It's completely the AI situation. And
So
by the way,
who's going to be ahead of that?
the short interest on all of that shit
Yeah.
is through the fucking roof, man.
Really?
It's through the roof,
So
man.
that means the amount of people that want to short the options on these Apple, Nvidia, it's
Yeah,
huge.
and short the stock. Exactly,
So you
exactly. They
that's why
use
you think there's too many people short. Interesting.
that
Interesting.
that and just the bid and just the way that this market is moving and the
Yeah.
price action that I'm seeing, especially on a name like Tesla. If you look at Tesla and you look at when they sell this fucking Tesla,
Mhm.
they do it through programs, and then there's just this bid that comes back and chews it back up and chews it
Weird.
all up. It's
Weird.
so strange. So it's a lot on that name, and then a lot of other names, banks especially too. A name like a Melly, and which is the Shopify thing.
Right.
There's just weird names that are just bid, bro. They're just bid.
Interesting.
They're
Interesting.
just
All
fucking
right.
bid.
Last thing I'll give you. Conspiracy theories going back to what we talked about before. I'm
Mhm.
doing research last week. I'm looking at like what happened during because of this train derailment in Ohio.
Oh man,
I'm looking at the trains and I'm
yeah,
looking at stocks from Northern Southern, whatever the
yeah.
Norfolk Southern, whatever.
Norfolk Southern, yeah.
Yep. So then I start thinking, what has happened in previous, stressful situations for the country? 9/11. I do a quick Google and I'm like, what happened to stocks, airline stocks on 9/11?
Right.
This article comes up and it has stats in it. The short interest on the put options. So I guess it would
Yep.
just be the amount of put options that were
Yep.
on United Airlines the day
Yep.
before 9/11 was
Yep.
235% more. What do
Yep.
you think of that? I need your take because you're my
I mean,
options man.
we're talking about Pelham 123 right here. Have you seen Pelham 123 with
No,
Denzel
I've
Washington
that's
and
with
John
the
Travolta?
train thing. The train
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yes, and John Travolta. Yeah, yeah.
John Travolta. They hijacked the train.
Stocks.
Denzel is the train operator or something. He happens to pick up the phone call, and this guy is threatening to blow up, and do all this crazy shit. And meanwhile, he had a bunch of call options on gold, and then he was short the market. Um, bro, It's real.
It's real.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, bro. When you're at that level of orchestrating how ridiculous that was, you break all boundaries of what you want to believe and what you know to be true, right? What you want to believe is that this is not possible.
It's an
That
accident.
nobody could have been coordinated
Right.
enough to do any of this stuff.
Right.
But what's real is that whole shit was completely orchestrated by somebody. Planned out so well.
So well.
So well.
And it's just like good, sorry.
To the T,
Yeah.
to the moment that there was also a way to profit from it. There was a way to get it going, to get it moving. It's all, if you can think about it in your head as a human being,
yes, it's possible.
Fucking possible.
Especially because you know some of those, like where those puts were coming from. They get better research. They get better information. They knew what was coming in a way. They need to be positioned. Not to say we're not going to go full conspiracy tinfoil hat and say 9/11 was known, but we're going to say something was known. Otherwise, why would there be so many put options?
Yes, 100%.
Crazy.
100%, man.
Well, listen, go finish out your trading day, bro. Good luck on your trades. I know I'll speak for the audience. I appreciate you so much. We'll touch base soon with Rafa, and we'll talk about our TradeSpace stuff. And
absolutely,
I'm gonna bring you back on for an episode in June, and we'll circle up and see where SPY is.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Austin. I appreciate it.
Always, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon, man.
Okay, see you, Lucci.